After school, the campus was nearly empty. I took deep breaths of the fresh air, suddenly pulled back from the resentment and terror before my death, my emotions still unsettled. Sage Lin was handing a bottle of water to Juno Ju, which contained a forbidden drug that would ignite uncontrollable desire. In my past life, I accidentally discovered Sage Lin pouring an unknown white powder into the water. I exposed her on the spot. But my childhood friend refused to believe me and insisted on drinking the water, even asking if I was just jealous that Sage Lin was prettier than me and targeting her out of spite. This time, I didn't stop him. After Juno Ju took the water, he instinctively glanced at me. "You're not going to control when I drink water too, are you? Up to you." I waved my hand dismissively. Sage Lin never missed a chance to target me. Without hesitation, she said, gruffly, "Your possessiveness over Juno Ju is too much. Doesn't he even have the freedom to make friends?" As soon as these words were spoken, the few classmates still in the classroom gave me strange looks. Juno Ju's face darkened even more. "What is he, anyway? Just a bookworm." I clenched the pen in my hand, hatred surging in my eyes. "Haven't you had enough? From start to finish? Did I say anything?" Juno Ju was taken aback and fell silent, his expression stern. Sage Lin continued to stir trouble. "You didn't say anything, but your face says it all. The moment Juno Ju and I exchange a few words, you glare silently." Juno Ju grew furious and shot me an angry look, as if to spite me. He drank the entire bottle of water. In my past life, I had knocked the bottle out of his hand. He only took a sip, but even that was enough to make him lose control. I couldn't imagine what would happen if he drank the whole bottle now, and strangely, I found myself looking forward to it, watching him finish the water. Sage Lin couldn't hide her triumphant excitement. She took Juno Ju's hand. "Juno Ju, take me home." Juno Ju, of course, wouldn't refuse. The two of them left the classroom hand in hand. 10 minutes later, the class monitor Liu Ping rushed into the classroom. His face flushed red. At that time, I was the only one left in the room. Liu Ping stammered, clearly struggling to speak. "What's wrong? Did something happen to Juno Ju and the others?" I asked proactively. Liu Ping grabbed my hand. Yes, it's them. What happened to them?" I looked directly into Liu Ping's eyes, pretending to know nothing. I used to trust Liu Ping a lot. He was not only the class monitor but also my desk mate for all 3 years of high school. I thought we were friends who could talk about anything, but I never expected him to stab me in the back after the incident. He publicly claimed that I had a crush on Juno Ju and had drugged him, even going so far as to livestream accusations of my wrongdoing. I was his desk mate for 3 years. I always knew he liked Juno Ju, but I never thought he would actually do something like this. Griff Lee has a sex addiction. She once called 10 male escorts in one night. I tried to advise her, but she wouldn't listen. She also has an unclear relationship with her neighbor's old husband. This live stream completely pushed the whole incident to its climax, and I was utterly thrown into the abyss. The school subsequently expelled me. Later, I happened to run into her once, by which time she had already risen to a high position. "Thank you. If it weren't for your misfortune, I wouldn't have been able to take your guaranteed admission spot and smoothly get into Tsinghua or Peking University." Memories flooded back, and I stared intently at Liu Ping. In my past life, it was he and I who discovered Juno Ju dragging Sage Lin into the restroom. I rushed over to intervene, while Liu Ping, claiming he would call for help, instead hid to the side and recorded the scene. Seeing that I wasn't in a hurry, Liu Ping grew frantic and began speaking incoherently. "Juno Ju is dragging Sage Lin into the men's restroom. Sage Lin has been crying the whole time. Juno Ju is going to assault Sage Lin, but aren't they into each other? How do you know Sage Lin isn't willing?" Hearing this, Liu Ping froze. Everyone in the class knew Juno Ju and Sage Lin had a thing for each other. They were just one step away from making it official. Liu Ping anxiously grabbed my wrist. "But they're still students. They can't do this. Come on, let's go check it out. We can't just stand by and do nothing." Liu Ping's scheming was practically oozing from his eyes. He just wanted to ruin me so he could snatch the guaranteed admission spot to Tsinghua or Peking University. I didn't say anything more and followed him downstairs. Along the way, I secretly sent a pre-written distress message to the principal and school administrators. as well as contacted a few influencers who were live streaming nearby. Sage Lin is the principal's daughter. Back when I was expelled, the principal humiliated me to the extreme, calling me ridden by thousands, slept with by tens of thousands. This time, I'm going to make sure the principal gets a front row seat to her daughter's grand performance. Approaching the restroom, we heard ambiguous sounds coming from inside. Brother Juno Ju, here, I want more. Brother Juno Ju, you're so amazing. The woman's soft moans and the man's muffled groans were incessant. Liu Ping's eyes darted around. Griff, you go in first to stop them. I'll go find someone to help. No, I can't go in. Let's just wait here for the teacher. I shrank my neck, pretending to be very scared. Liu Ping glared at me angrily, suppressing his temper and lowering his voice. If you don't go in now, they'll have already sealed the deal. Do you really want to give Juno Ju to Sage Lin? The outer door of the restroom wasn't fully closed. Through the crack, I saw Juno Ju pressing Sage Lin against the wall. Sage Lin's clothes were half removed, revealing glimpses of her skin. Juno Ju was frantically tearing at Sage Lin's school uniform, biting and kissing her body. Sage Lin pretended to struggle but didn't use any real force. Her feigned resistance only made Juno Ju more uncontrollable. I pursed my lips tightly, pretending to be conflicted. All right, you're right, I'll go in now. Just as I was about to push the door open, I turned back to Liu Ping and said, hurry and find the teacher. I won't be able to hold out for long. Liu Ping eagerly agreed. Turned to run, then made a turn and came back. Gleefully, he took out his phone, turned on the recording, and wedged it into the door crack. Inside, it was chaotic, and the lewd sounds were unmistakably audible. After doing this, Liu Ping finally went off contentedly to find the teacher and the school security. By the time a group of people rushed to the building in a flurry, the people inside were still passionately entangled. Liu Ping, crying and covering his face, stopped the principal. Teacher, I don't know why they're like this. The principal's face was terrifyingly grim. He had no idea that his daughter Sage Lin was inside, as Liu Ping hadn't made it clear who was in there. Liu Ping wasn't just trying to ruin me. He wanted to destroy Sage Lin too, since in his eyes, we were both competitors. And today, as luck would have it, a friend who was a leader from the Education Bureau had come for an inspection. Now, a group of Education Bureau officials had followed the principal to catch the adulterers in the act. The scene couldn't have been more dramatic. The principal was trembling with rage. With the Education Bureau officials watching, it seemed his path to promotion was very likely ruined. I imagine the principal, at that moment, wished he could kill the adulterous couple inside. The principal tried to move forward, but Liu Ping stopped him again, crying and wailing, "Principal, inside is." He pretended to be hesitant. The principal grabbed his shoulders and demanded, "Who is it?" Liu Ping, putting on a terrified, tearful act, sobbed, "It's Griff Lee." The principal naturally knew me. My grades were always ranked first in the grade, and I was the most promising candidate for Tsinghua or Peking University. The principal's eyes widened with fury, and the insult he was about to hurl died on his lips. The Education Bureau officials were still watching the principal, so it wasn't the right moment to say anything too harsh. The people inside were still lost in their pleasure, completely unaware of the commotion outside, and the lewd sounds grew even wilder. Liu Ping clutched his chest and cried, "Griff Lee, how could you be so foolish? Why can't you control yourself? Are you really that unable to live without a man?" Upon hearing this, the Education Bureau officials' faces turned extremely grim, considering themselves respectable individuals. They couldn't bring themselves to barge in at that moment. A group of them stood awkwardly downstairs, exchanging uneasy glances. What happened to me? I finally emerged from my hiding spot after a long while. "What are you doing here?" Liu Ping exclaimed in shock. The principal eyed me suspiciously. "It wasn't you. Then who's in there?" I shrugged and said I didn't know, adding that I hadn't gotten a clear look at who it was, since Liu Ping was deliberately keeping it a secret. I saw no need to expose him. Just then, several internet celebrities who had caught wind of the situation barged in, ignoring the school security guards' attempts to stop them. "Wow, the students at your school are really open, engaging in such activities in broad daylight," one remarked. "Yeah, principal. Aren't you going to take us to see? What are your thoughts on this?" Share them with our live stream audience. The principal's face turned ashen, his expression tight as he remained silent. Liu Ping stared at me intently. Finally losing his composure, he grabbed my arm. Weren't you supposed to be in there? Then who just went in? I was too scared to go in, I said, forcing out tears and putting on a timid, ostrich-like act. Liu Ping was so furious he raised his hand to slap me. But his hand stopped just before making contact, and he glared at me fiercely. The internet celebrity's live streaming equipment was pushed forward, and the comments in the live chat were flying. 666. This is so intense. You can tell just from the sounds that it's wild in there. Host, hurry up and go record it so we can get a good look. The streamer chuckled. I don't dare. If I go in, my live stream will get banned. I avoided the camera and flashed a faint smile at Liu Ping. He stared at me in shock. You. What's wrong? Class president, I asked, feigning ignorance. The Education Bureau officials' faces were now flushed bright red as they pointed toward the restroom. Old Lin. You'd better go talk some sense into your students. The situation was completely out of control now. The principal was so angry his face contorted. Well, these students are really something. As the principal rushed toward the restroom, I ran over crying and grabbed his arm. Teacher, please don't go. The principal pushed me away forcefully. Get lost. What are you trying to do? All of you trying to stop me one after another. Everyone around looked at each other, and Liu Ping, who had already come to his senses, was hiding in the crowd, staring at me intently. He seemed to think of something and suddenly jogged over. Griff Lee, stop interfering with them. I know you like Juno Ju, but he deserves it. Pretending to care about me, he pulled me aside, looking pained and earnest. We're just students, don't get involved in the teacher's affairs. Seeing that I still intended to intervene, the principal pushed me away forcefully. I, on the other hand, cried my heart out, sobbing to the live camera. But there are so many people here. If this gets out, what will happen to the person inside? I pretended to be deeply concerned about the person inside. Of course, in front of the camera, I had to act like I cared about my classmates. This time, the moral high ground had to be mine. Hearing this, the principal paused, and the Education Bureau officials also looked troubled, in front of the camera. They couldn't just barge in to catch someone in the act. If a student were to get hurt as a result, they couldn't bear the consequences. The group hesitated about 30 meters away from the school building's restroom. Though not too close, we could still clearly hear the commotion inside. An internet celebrity tried to get closer to film but was stopped by security. And so, a group of people waited outside like sitting ducks, waiting for nearly 2 hours until the noise inside finally subsided. The restroom door opened. But to everyone's surprise, the person who walked out was a man who looked thoroughly satisfied. Not a student from our school, the man was burly and strong, with a scar on his face. Seeing so many eyes fixed on him, he spat in disgust. What are you looking at? Keep staring and I'll gouge your eyes out. Seeing that it was an outsider, the principal visibly relaxed. As long as it wasn't a student, things were easier to handle. But then, someone exclaimed in shock. Holy crap, inside, an internet celebrity seized the moment and rushed over. The bathroom door was wide open, revealing a chaotic scene that made everyone gasp. Juno Ju and the disheveled Sage Lin lay naked on the floor, with several men standing around them. This guy is even wilder than a woman. The few of us couldn't even satisfy him. This woman is useless. She passed out after just a little while. The guy can really take it. The men leisurely pulled up their pants and, seeing the door open, reluctantly left. I recognized a few of them as workers who had come to our school to construct the new building. Juno Ju, meanwhile, seemed to have lost his mind, mumbling, I want more. I want more. The effects of the drug were much stronger this time than in his previous life. The internet celebrity exclaimed, holy shit, he's into both men and women. I was shocked. I had never known Juno Ju was bisexual. Sage Lin, on the other hand, appeared to have been tormented to the point of delirium. Her body was covered in bruises, and her hair was matted to her face, making it hard to recognize her. The principal, witnessing the scene, was dumbfounded, trembling with anger. He shouted, you two, have you lost your minds? Sage Lin, in a semi-conscious state, was jolted awake by the principal's scream. She propped herself up, and upon seeing the crowd before her, shuddered violently. She hastily picked up the torn clothes from the floor, clumsily pulling them on as she tried to stand. But her feet slipped, and with a dull thud, she fell heavily to the ground. The Education Bureau officials quickly exchanged glances. The principal's face darkened. How dare someone cause such a scandal at the critical moment of his promotion, and in front of so many officials? His career was ruined. Feeling as though he had nothing left to lose, the principal lunged forward, grabbing Sage Lin by the hair. "You wretched thing. How did your parents raise you?" Sage Lin winced in pain from the grip on her scalp, wanting to tell him to stop but unable to speak. Meanwhile, Juno Ju, still unsatisfied, crawled over and began groping her. Disgusted, Sage Lin kicked him away. Over the past 2 hours, she had grown utterly repulsed by Juno Ju. Hiding in the crowd, I sobbed uncontrollably, appearing to everyone as a caring student deeply concerned for her classmates. The principal and the homeroom teacher, who had just arrived, hurled insults and humiliation at Sage Lin. Wrapped tightly in her clothes, she trembled uncontrollably. At one point, someone tried to push her hair aside, but she frantically slapped their hand away. I hid in the back watching the drama, while Liu Ping looked at me with a heavy heart, occasionally glancing back to observe me. The principal was so angry that his chest heaved violently, and the Education Bureau leader sighed and shook his head, saying something to the principal before leaving first. After they left, the principal's face turned even uglier. He could no longer control himself and rushed forward, kicking Juno Ju and Sage Lin several times fiercely. Sage Lin, naked, dodged frantically, while Juno Ju, still under the effects of the drug, was too weak to avoid the blows and cried out in pain. Sage Lin sobbed hysterically, "Stop hitting us, stop!" After finishing with Juno Ju, the principal turned to attack Sage Lin, cornering her against the wall and gritting his teeth. "You bitch, what are you hiding from? Weren't you so good at playing around? Come on. Let everyone see how shameless you are." The principal even deliberately moved aside to give the livestream camera a clearer view. Then, he grabbed Sage Lin by the hair, forcing her head up, revealing her pale, terrified face beneath the disheveled strands. Instantly, the surroundings fell silent for a moment before someone cried out, "It's Sage Lin." The principal, who was closest, reacted first. She recoiled as if she had touched the plague. Staggering backward while staring fixedly at Sage Lin choked out a sob. "Mom." That single word "mom" shattered all of the principal's remaining hope. She shook her head. "You, Sage." The phone in her hand slipped and fell to the ground with a clatter, and her entire body trembled as if struck by lightning. I hid in the corner, coldly watching this spectacular scene of a cheating scandal unfold. Look, this is exactly how this drama should have played out, in my previous life. I shouldn't have interfered and ended up covered in filth. Liu Ping, from across the crowd, locked his gaze firmly on me. It shouldn't have been like this. He didn't understand why I hadn't barged in. Of course, he knew that Sage Lin had drugged Juno Ju. The drug was something he had helped her obtain. Liu Ping was well aware of how potent the drug was. Even the slightest dose could turn the most virtuous, untarnished person into someone consumed by lust. If I had dared to enter earlier, Juno Ju would never have let me go. And Juno Ju, whose mind had been controlled by desire, had finally regained some semblance of rationality, but he was still racked with discomfort, as if drowning in a sea of lust. "I feel so awful, so awful." He couldn't help but try to get closer to Sage Lin, but she slapped him hard and pushed him away. "Get away from me. You're disgusting. Don't touch me." Her voice was hoarse. The slap brought Juno Ju back to his senses a little. He gritted his teeth and said, "You say I'm disgusting. Who was it that was having such a wild time with those men just now? Was I having as much fun as you? I was completely exhausted, and you were still grinding against them." The thought of it made Sage Lin want to vomit. The scene of the two of them fighting like dogs was clearly recorded by the nosy influencers. They were in the middle of their heated argument when Liu Ping suddenly rushed over. She was crying as she stopped Sage Lin and said, "Sage, I'm sorry, it's my fault for not successfully stopping Griff," which led to her. Liu Ping didn't finish her sentence, but everyone present understood what she meant. The principal was the first to react. He rushed over like a madman and slapped me hard across the face. It's you, you're the one who set up my daughter. Sage Lin reacted quickly too. She wrapped her clothes tightly around herself and cried hysterically, "Yes, it's her. She's the one who wanted to harm me." Juno pinched himself to stay. He shook his head and said, "Griff, was it you?" Everyone was pointing at me, and it seemed like the situation had suddenly turned around. The influencer pointed the camera at me and asked, "Was it you? Classmate, say something. Did you do it?" Before Liu Ping could say anything else, I hugged her tightly and burst into tears. "Deskmate, I know you mean well. But you shouldn't have deliberately led those workers here just to get back at someone for me." Hearing this, Sage Lin turned sharply to look at Liu Ping. Sage Lin had only told Liu Ping about drugging Juno. Could it really have been Liu Ping? "Was it you?" Sage Lin stared at Liu Ping as if she were looking at a dead person. Liu Ping broke out in a cold sweat and shook her head frantically. In her panic, she pointed at me and said, "You're lying, I wanted you to go in, not." Liu Ping's words trailed off abruptly. Under the scrutinizing gazes of everyone around her, she broke into a cold sweat. The principal's face turned from red to pale, then from pale to green. Perhaps he had already guessed a thing or two. He had the security guards escort the influencers out of the school and used a mix of threats and persuasion to barely bring the matter to an end. That day, Juno was rushed to the hospital. The drug was too potent, and he passed out. It was said that the excessive dosage would most likely leave Juno impotent for life. The incident in the restroom couldn't be covered up, and by the next day, it had spread through the school like wildfire. So wild. I heard those workers got involved too. I never expected Juno, that straight guy, wouldn't even spare men. Hey, haven't you seen the news? Some men, when they're in the mood, won't even let an exhaust pipe go. The incident blew up so much that even the police chief stepped in, vowing to get to the bottom of it. I rested at home for a day and went to school as usual. As soon as I arrived, my classmates swarmed around me, chattering non-stop. Liu Ping stood on the platform wiping the blackboard, his eyes fixed intently on me. Neither Juno nor Sage Lin came to school. After one class ended, Liu Ping called me out for a talk, in the deserted equipment room. Liu Ping dropped the act, his face darkening. "You ruined our plans." As he finished speaking, Sage Lin emerged from behind the equipment, her expression terrifyingly grim. The dim light in the equipment room made her face appear even more shadowy and ominous. She advanced step by step. "Griff Lee, do you think you're so clever?" Red marks still lingered on Sage Lin's neck, and her eyes were filled with venom. "Liu Ping told me everything. You knew I drugged the water all along. Deliberately didn't stop me, and even led those workers over. You wanted to see me ruined, to destroy me." I shrugged. "If you're the one who drugged it, you brought this on yourself. Who's to blame?" Sage Lin was so furious that her chest heaved violently in pain. It wasn't that she particularly liked Juno. It was just that she had covered her stomach. She needed to find a father for the child in her womb, and the devoted Juno, with his excellent family background as the son of an official and his unwavering loyalty to her, was the perfect candidate to take responsibility. But she never expected things to escalate so badly. Now, the situation had spiraled out of control, and someone had to take the blame for everything. "I won't let you get away with this. Griff Lee, what are you going to do about it?" Others avoided provoking Sage Lin because she was the principal's daughter. But I wasn't afraid. My parents were also influential figures in the area, running a company with 5,000 employees. Liu Ping, afraid the conflict would turn toward him, quickly distanced himself. "Sage, don't let her off. She's deliberately targeting you because of Juno. Liu Ping was just a scholarship student from a poor family. If Sage Lin turned her anger on him, he'd be left with nowhere to bury his body. But Liu Ping was thinking too simply. He thought he could escape by pinning all the blame on me. How could that be possible? Sage Lin turned to look at Liu Ping. "Class monitor, how do you think we should handle this? We can say Griff was the one who drugged the drink, just like we originally planned." Liu Ping spoke urgently, but Sage Lin shook her head. "That won't work. The police can trace the purchase of the drug back to you." Liu Ping. Hearing this, Liu Ping's face turned deathly pale, and he stared blankly at Sage Lin. "Sage, that's not what you said last night. You promised you'd protect me." "Protect you? Sage Lin sneered. I remember your parents are farmers, and your grandmother is still in the hospital. The more Sage Lin spoke, the more Liu Ping's expression darkened. Liu Ping had thought Sage Lin was here today to teach me a lesson, but he was too naive. Sage Lin's real goal was to make Liu Ping, her accomplice, take all the blame willingly. What do you mean? Are you threatening me? Liu Ping shrieked. Sage Lin slapped him across the face. Shut up. Liu Ping covered his face, glaring resentfully at Sage Lin. Sage Lin chuckled. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You were so eager to buy the medicine for me. Wasn't it just to watch me make a fool of myself and reap the benefits? I won't let Griff Lee off. But do you think I'll let you go either? I crossed my arms, watching coldly as the two dogs turned on each other. Liu Ping lowered his head, lost in thought. He only knew he was finished. Offending the principal and getting involved in the illegal drug trade had sealed his fate. Seeing Liu Ping fall silent, Sage Lin nodded with satisfaction and turned to me. Enjoying the show? It's all right, quite entertaining. I replied with a faint smile. Sage Lin grew furious, gritting her teeth. Don't get too smug. Juno Ju has already agreed to marry me. I still win. But didn't you already lose interest in Juno Ju? Anyone with eyes could see how disdainful she was toward Juno Ju that day. Sage Lin shot me a glare. That's none of your business. Juno Ju and I are getting married abroad and probably won't be coming back. You'd better not bother him again. Or I won't let you off either. Liu Ping turned himself in, admitting that he had bought the illegal drugs and administered them. On the day he was arrested, Liu Ping, eyes vacant, was handcuffed and escorted into a police car, muttering under his breath, "It shouldn't be like this. I should have gotten into Tsinghua or Peking University. I was supposed to live a glorious life forever." His classmates exclaimed that Liu Ping had gone mad, due to the scandal. The principal was dismissed and placed under house arrest, while Sage Lin and Juno Ju also took leave from school. I saw Juno Ju half a month later. Our families had been close for generations. His parents were in politics, while mine were in business. Juno Ju lay on the hospital bed, his eyes hollow. My mother whispered to me, "Juno Ju is done for. That drug did severe damage to his body. He'll never be able to function properly again." There had been no such incident in my past life, and he seems to have lost his mind. He screams whenever he sees a man. The doctors say it's a severe psychological trauma. I was stunned. Had Juno Ju developed androphobia? Sure enough, as soon as he saw my father and his own, Juno Ju went into a frenzy, shouting, "Get away, get away." The parents had no choice but to step out. Juno Ju's mother grabbed my hand, crying, "Sweetheart, please talk some sense into him. This can't go on. What happened with that man isn't the end of the world. Please, talk to him." I struggled to hold back my laughter. "All right, Auntie." When I entered the hospital room, Juno Ju was still gasping for breath, his bloodshot eyes fixed on my face as if he wanted to devour me. "Why didn't you stop me? Why should I have stopped you? Isn't this exactly what you wanted?" I blinked innocently, infuriating Juno Ju to the point where he nearly choked and almost met an untimely demise. "You came back too, didn't you? You clearly knew." "Shut up." I walked over and slapped him hard, my gaze sharp. "What happens when I interfere? Don't you know, Juno Ju, even if you don't like me, I'm still the girl next door who grew up with you. How could you bring death upon my entire family?" Hearing this, Juno Ju seemed to deflate completely, a tear sliding from the corner of his eye. After a long moment, he let out a heavy sigh. I was just deceived by Sage Lin. She said you'd been bullying her all along, that she only did wrong to win me over, bullying her." I pointed at myself in disbelief. With Sage Lin's domineering and unruly personality, who could possibly bully her? Before leaving, I leaned close to Juno Ju's ear and whispered, "Did you know Sage Lin is pregnant, 2 months along?" At these words, Juno Ju's pupils trembled. In our previous life, he had always believed the child in Sage Lin's womb was his, to the extent that, seeking revenge on me, he coldly watched as Sage Lin drugged me, causing me to lose several of my own children. I continued, "You killed your own children for someone else's bastard. TSK, you really are the finest of cuckolds." Juno Ju could bear it no longer and suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing his ashen face, I pressed on, "You should know you're finished, right? But it's okay, later on, you can still Find a man. Juno Ju began screaming like a madman. Doctors and nurses rushed in, strapping him to the bed and administering a sedative. In the end, Liu Ping did not let Sage Lin off so easily. On the day he was sentenced by the court, he released all the videos he had secretly recorded onto foreign websites. Netizens never lack the time or energy for drama, and even though the videos spread wildly on foreign platforms, it didn't stop them from reposting the content back domestically. The videos shared domestically were censored, but amidst the chaos, netizens could still see just how recklessly that one woman and multiple men were carrying on, starting with just 2 students, then several workers coming in to use the restroom, and even footage of Sage Lin and Liu Ping discussing the purchase of banned substances. The school principal had initially managed to distance Sage Lin from the scandal and even garnered public sympathy, but once the videos surfaced, public opinion completely reversed. Incredible. So it was all orchestrated by that female student. This is beyond shocking. Why would she do this? What was she even thinking? The principal's daughter really knows how to play the game, and because of Sage Lin's actions, the principal was dragged down by rivals seizing the opportunity, becoming a target of public criticism as everyone turned against him. Many people have begun to come forward with real-name reports accusing the principal of corruption, abuse of power, and misusing public resources for personal gain during their tenure. The relevant authorities intervened in the investigation and quickly arrested the principal, who was subsequently imprisoned. Sage Lin also served several years in prison for the drugging incident, and Juno Ju's parents were suspended from their jobs and required to stay at home due to Juno Ju's behavior at school. As for me, I received sympathy from classmates and teachers around me, all pitying me as an innocent person who was nearly implicated by them. That day after school, I was happily heading home with my backpack when I ran into Juno Ju. He had lost a lot of weight, his cheeks sunken, and despite the hot weather, he was bundled up tightly, as if afraid of being recognized. He approached me, his eyes filled with exhaustion and regret. "Griff, can we talk? We have nothing to talk about," I said, pushing him aside and trying to leave. Juno Ju anxiously grabbed my hand, pleading, "Please, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I truly thought you were the one bullying Sage Lin at school. Other students were ostracizing her, and I thought it was you. So I couldn't help but laugh. You never really believed that, did you? You just hated me for suddenly appearing and blocking your path to ingratiating yourself with the principal's family, even though my family did everything to help you start your business. You still thought it wasn't enough. Juno Ju's family is involved in politics, but his parents hold relatively low-ranking positions. The principal's family, on the other hand, consists of high-ranking officials, especially the principal's husband, who holds significant influence in the province. Naturally, such status was more appealing to Juno Ju. Deep down, he looks down on business people, and his obsession with power has blinded him. However, with such a major scandal, even the principal's seemingly powerful husband may find it difficult to remain unscathed. Juno Ju, now gaunt and disheveled, looked embarrassed and at a loss. He cried out unwillingly, "A day as husband and wife means 100 days of kindness. We were married for 10 years. How can you be so heartless? Husband and wife, how dare you even mention that we were married?" I glared at him fiercely. Juno Ju, always thick-skinned, refused to give up. "This time, I'll treat you well. We can start over. I'll help manage your parents' company." I almost laughed in anger. Even at this point, he still dares to covet my family's company. I leaned in close to him. "Your parents have both been suspended from their positions and are now at home. Do you think they'll have any chance of being reinstated if more bad news surfaces at a time like this?" Juno Ju's eyes widened abruptly. I continued, I was married to you for 10 years in my past life. Do you really think I don't know what your family has done? Juno Ju, did you know your parents had another daughter?" At these words, Juno Ju's face turned pale. He had always known he had an older sister, but back then, due to the one-child policy, public officials were only allowed one child. In their obsession with carrying on the family line, his parents smothered their newborn daughter to death and covered it up as an accident. I only found out about this by chance after we were married. Juno Ju stepped back, one step at a time. "You're lying. What proof do you have?" I shook my head and smiled. Why would I need to go to the trouble of finding proof? All I have to do is hint at this matter to your parents' political opponents. And someone will naturally dig up the evidence. Juno Jew didn't dare to press further and fled in panic. Half a month later, I heard the news that Juno Jew's parents had been arrested. My parents cursed the couple at home. So that's how the child died. My God, that child was so adorable, fair and chubby. Yes, they brought the child back to the village for the new year, and when they returned, they said the child had been playing around while sleeping and accidentally suffocated under the blanket. I got my wish and was admitted to Tsinghua or Peking University through a special recommendation. On the day I left for college, I heard that Juno Jew had attempted suicide by jumping into the sea. He didn't die. He was rescued, but after that, there was no further news of him. Years later, I heard about Juno Jew again. This time, it was news of his wedding to Sage Lin. The high school class group chat immediately buzzed with excitement, and someone even shared a video of their wedding ceremony. In the video, two people who had clearly been through a lot walked woodenly into the wedding hall. When it came time to exchange rings, both hesitated and didn't make a move. The MC stepped in to smooth things over. The two of them are just so overjoyed that they've forgotten the procedure for a moment. Let's give them another round of applause to boost their confidence. Amid the enthusiastic applause filling the venue, Juno Jew threw the ring to the ground. I don't want to marry her. His words caused an uproar in the crowd. Sage Lin's tongue was as sharp as ever. What? Do you think I want to marry a eunuch like you? You've been holding it in for so many years. You've long gone insane. If it weren't for giving our child a father, do you think I'd be willing to marry you? Sage Lin picked up the ring and calmly slipped it onto her own finger, then forcefully slid the other ring onto Juno Jew's finger. Juno Jew. Two rotten people like us deserve to rot together for a lifetime. As for who the father of the child in her belly was, she didn't know. She enjoyed hiring male models and had been with quite a few of them. Liu Ping even showed up at the wedding. He looked weathered, though only 25 years old. Like a middle-aged man worn down by sun and wind, he laughed maniacally. Yeah, you two deserve to rot together. The group chat exploded. Scatter flowers for the happy ending. In a way, they were indeed a perfect match. Let's congratulate this villainous couple on their happy ending.